Hello, welcome to my third podcast shorts, and today we're going to be talking about an interesting topic that I've been reading about for quite some time. It's the new CHIPS Act and the challenges that could come with it. So, if you don't know, Biden passed the CHIPS Act, which basically gives investment to chip makers and semiconductor manufacturers to build factories on American soil in an attempt to try and bolster the U.S.'s manufacturing power in chip making. Now, while I do think that it can be a very good thing, it comes with potential challenges. And one of the biggest ones that I've been reading a lot about is the US's workforce. The US hasn't really been a manufacturing power in quite some time. And as a result, the US manufacturing industry has lost talent considerably. And I think it's important to kind of note that the U.S. Now has a problem with training workers to try and help these manufacturing plants. And a lot of times, the Taiwanese chip manufacturing company, TSMC, one of the biggest ones that is kind of spearheading this charge, is now bringing along Taiwanese workers to try and help out the American ones, which is actually leading to conflicts between the union construction companies and the Taiwanese workers that they're trying to bring in as experts in the field to try and spearhead this process. And an interesting kind of caveat and potential consequence to all of this is the fact that these Taiwanese workers may actually train the American ones. I think that that's probably the best outcome and the best use for these Taiwanese workers because a lot of them know what they're doing. Taiwan has had a very good time perfecting its semiconductor industry. It's the biggest, I think it's probably the biggest semiconductor manufacturer in the world. So if the U.S. wants to try and build up its semiconductor industry, I think Taiwanese workers will be essential for that in some way. But I don't think their roles should be replacing American workers, but rather training them. It should really be a matter of having these Taiwanese workers come in and teach American workers, like in multi-year programs or something, how to actually manufacture these chips effectively and how to like use many of their like the tools and stuff, how to like actually build these semiconductors and these advanced chips. Because I think as they kind of pointed out, the U.S. hasn't really had a significant workforce in years for manufacturing, and I think that's what's really holding up a lot of these potential projects and everything that the Biden administration's trying to do. What they're trying to like revive American semiconductor manufacturing, trying to get the U.S. kind of on the world stage of semiconductor manufacturers. And while that could work in the that could work in the long term, it still has a bunch of problems. And I think that, we need to kind of address those challenges, especially the workforce challenge, in order to make these chips, making them in America a possibility. Because after all, if you can't really bring in skilled workers, then you can't build the, actual products themselves. So I think that it's kind of interesting that the U.S. kind of has to start from the bottom here. The U.S. got rid of a lot of its industry in the 1990s and the early 2000s, and now it has to start from the bottom again because the U.S. has transitioned to a service-based economy. It has to start from the beginning now and work its way up and compete with other manufacturers. So I think that's just kind of like interesting and kind of gives a perspective as to what's happening with that. But anyways, that's kind of the end of my new podcast. George just wanted to briefly discuss this because I thought it was a bit interesting. And yeah, if you like this, please follow me on Facebook. We'll have a new longer podcast episode coming out soon, and we'll see you later. Bye.